did you think, no, this is too personal to me, I care about it? Some combination of those?
My feeling was that, you know, if you're put here for a reason, you should be true to that. And you know, ever since I was old enough to watch movies, they meant a lot to me. Telling the story was one of the great gifts that I received as a kid. So it inspires one to grow up and want to do that same thing. And so I thought, you know, if I'm going to be true to that, then I really got to stick to my guns, and I gotta follow through on this. And if not now, then when? And if not this, then what? You know, you can always sell your dream if you want to for money. But you know, I'd rather have had the chance to make the movie that I had in my heart. And much to their credit, they took no very, very graciously for an answer. And Rob was nothing but a doll about it. He's a real mensch, you know. He understood my reasons and supported me from that moment on. And, you know, by the way, they could easily have screwed me on that if they were not good people. Contractually, I had 1 week on the set, after which they could have fired me and done whatever they wanted with it. But, you know, that week turned into the following week, because they had no intention of being bad people. They were some of the finest people I've actually had the pleasure of dealing with in this business.
Maybe I'm over-obsessed with this. Yeah. I don't mean this to disparage the people who would have taken the money, because I would have. And so the admiration that I have for your sort of, you know, when you're not wealthy, to believe in yourself, like that, you know, is a story that gets echoed again and again and again when I sit here and talk to great artists.
Thank you.
So casting. So Cruz is out.
Yeah.
Who did you get the people in the leads in Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins? Was that who you wanted, or did we have to go through a little process to get to these perfect leading actors?
Usually you go through a process of who would be right, who would be the best, who would, you know, and certainly with this, they had to have a good chemistry as a pair as well. So, I mean, we were thinking of a lot of different people. I've always been a huge fan of, and now because I'm 60, I'm going to start blanking on names. Tom Hagen, help me out.
Oh, Robert Duvall.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I was thinking Robert Duvall for Red, or Gene Hackman, you know, and for Andy, I was thinking, you know, one of my thoughts was Tom Hanks, who I felt was on the verge of gaining a tremendous amount of credibility as a dramatic actor. He was still kind of the guy from Splash, kind of the comedic guy, but I really
turned out you were wrong.
That
guy never turned the corner.
I was thinking him. I was thinking Kevin Costner, who had just done Field of Dreams and Dances with Wolves, and I thought he was, you know, the heir apparent to Gary Cooper, perhaps. And then going back to Liz Glotzer again, my executive, she said, "What about Morgan Freeman for Red?" That was her idea. And the gears in my brain went, and I went, oh, well, he's not a white Irish guy, but he's fantastic.
And the character in Rita Hayworth in the Shawshank Redemption in the King book is Irish.
Is an Irish guy.
And just one thing I glossed over there, you cued pretty closely to King's story. A lot of people, when they adapt Stephen King, you know, you stayed pretty true to that story.
I do. I always try, you know, if a piece of material is worth adapting, then I feel like it's worth hewing as closely to the experience of that story as you possibly can when you're adapting. I wanted the audience to get the same feeling watching the movie that I got reading it. So Red as Morgan Freeman just seemed like such a home run idea, because he has that gravitas and that heart, you know, that humanity. And so once we offered the role to him, then it was, okay, who's Andy going to be? And to this day, Morgan claims credit for saying, I think you should get Tim Robbins. And who knows, he might be right.
Yeah.
He insists, so I'm willing to believe him. But once Tim Robbins kind of came into the mix, that seemed like a really potentially great bit of chemistry. I watched Jacob's Ladder one night, and I went, okay, this guy's, he's got the enigmatic quality that the character is crying out for.
Most people at the time, though, associated Robbins with these sort of glib, slick Hollywood or Washington types. Bob Roberts, the player, that was what he was known for. And then you see in Shawshank the tremendous range that now we recognize as part of Tim Robbins' work.
I always love when an actor gets an opportunity to jump out of the small little box that they tend to be in. You see them getting cast in similar types of roles, and I love when an actor can surprise me, when they're given that opportunity and then they rise to that occasion. I always get a thrill out of that.
A couple little fun casting things that I wanted to touch on. I read today, Gil Bellows is wonderful as a small but critical part of a younger inmate who plays a big role in Andy's progression. But Brad Pitt was the first choice there.
Yeah.
And he took it.
Brad was, he said yes to this. And he was fresh off the boat, man. All he had done to that point was Thelma and Louise. And everybody was very excited about him as a fresh young actor. He said, hey, he'd be wonderful. And so I met with him, and he said he was excited. He said yes, and before I knew it, he became a megastar and was no longer available. So I went, okay, we got to find us, a Tommy here. And of course, you wish if somebody has to back out of a production, I've never taken that personally. I've always thought, well,
good
if they've got it, good luck to you indeed. If you've got a good opportunity that supersedes working with me, that's fine. You got to do what you got to do.
Then, another small but critical role, the sort of the guy leading the band of sexual assaulting prison thugs. My daughter is here. We're going to tread carefully.
The sisters.
Yes, that's right. The sisters, as they're called in the film. You just told me this backstage, there was a chance to land a different actor.
Yeah. Okay, this is kind of one of the fun things that, one of those fun little stories most people don't know. When you're casting, you see so many people, and my casting director, Deb Aquila, had this younger New York stage actor come in to read. I think it was literally his first trip to Los Angeles to read for the roles. And he auditioned for the role of Boggs. And we loved him. He knocked us out of the performance. And the moment he walked out of the room, we said, hire that guy. So same situation happened. A few weeks go by, and we get a call from his agent. And he says, he's not going to be able to do your movie. He's gotten a better, bigger role in another movie. I said, well, gee, that's too bad. The guy was James Gandolfini, who went off and did True Romance instead of a Shawshank, and I don't blame him, because it was a much better role for him. He was really able to show a lot of, a lot more of his talent. So that was another one where I went, I almost got the chance to work with James Gandolfini. That would have been very cool.
Was such an unbelievably talented actor.
Gosh, yeah. I'm sorry he's no longer around.
Was Steve? You 5 years later you made The Green Mile, which also hews very closely to Stephen King's book, which was my favorite Stephen King book. It's the book that got me interested in Stephen King. Actually, it was very sort of
It's
late.
definitely one of his best.
So was King pleased with Shawshank?
Oh yeah, he was thrilled. He's been quoted as saying that it's the movie that he thinks saved his movie reputation as a storyteller.
That's a
very nice compliment.
That is a nice compliment.
Although he's had a few other really great ones. Rob himself did two great ones. Misery and
Misery and
Stand By Me for sure. There have been a few others. Cronenberg's Dead Zone, I think, is fantastic. And Dolores Claiborne, by the way. If you haven't seen it, there's some good movies there that Steve has been the source for.
Was on this stage 3 nights ago, unbelievably, for When Harry Met Sally, and Rob was here, and Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. It was great, yeah. It was the 30th anniversary of that movie. And one of the great things, without spoiling the end, because I'm sure some people who have not seen Shawshank Redemption didn't get cable. Anybody who hasn't seen Shawshank? Not many. All right. So we got some
movies.
So we won't.
Thanks for coming.
It is very challenging, especially you're in the middle. You've made a great, great, great movie. A movie that obviously has stood the test of time. Will continue. One of the great prison movies ever. One of the great movies about friendship ever. And filled with these little nuggets, great scenes. So many. Kirsten, Bob Gunton, Clancy Brown, Bill Sadler. These just great, great, great character actors. James Whitmore, obviously.
Harrison Whitmore.
So When Harry Met Sally manages to give you the exact ending that you have been praying for the entire movie, without ever feeling like they twisted your arm, whether they, in so many great movies, they stay great, but at the end you're like, all right, well, I feel a little tiny bit manipulated. And all I feel at the end of Shawshank is like,
Oh, good.
but that is a really tough thing to do, right? Without feeling like maybe you cheated us a little bit.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad that worked out. Indeed, the ending. We're not gonna get into it because I don't want. I hate spoilers. I always say to my wife, "Honey, don't tell me anything about this."
And maybe I raise my hands in the air when everyone dies.
Yes, that's the only story. It's horrible. It's a rhinoceros stampede. They all
but it's shot really well, so.
The very end scene was something that I had not put in the first draft of the script. I ended the script exactly where Steve King ended the story. And it was, again, Liz Glotzer who said, you might want to consider that ending. You might want to consider going one step further because, as she said, once you put the audience through two hours of hell and misery, you might owe them a catharsis.
Right.
And indeed, she was so right. I was worried about that scene for the same reasons. I thought, well, is it the Hollywood ending? Is it the Hollywood cop-out happy ending, or is it something the audience really is going to be nourished by? And so they said to me, again, Castle Rock, I cannot praise them enough. They said, go shoot it. We're not going to make you use it. Put it in the movie if it works, if it pleases you, the filmmaker, which certainly gave me the liberty to go out and give it a try. And we never even tested the movie without that ending, because once we were in the editing room, Richard Francis Bruce and I, we just fell in love with it. We said, this feels right. It feels like what you want to give the audience.
I think I can ask you this question without necessarily betraying anything. It's shot, if you'd shot it with a bunch of close-ups, it would have been, I think, a different feel.
Yes.
Was that your way of thinking?
Yes, absolutely. And dialogue as well.
Right.
It just lets the audience bring it for you, is the thing. I did actually have a couple of lines of dialogue there at the end, which sucked so hard. When we were in the editing room, I said, don't ever burn that negative. Don't ever. Those lines do not belong in this movie. Just let the picture tell the story.
Well, the picture tells the story. It's been one of my favorite movies for 25 years. I imagine when we're at the 35th annual TCM Film Festival, I'll still be talking about it as one of my favorite movies. Frank Darabont, everybody. Shawshank Redemption.
Thanks for coming today. It means a lot to me.